Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to tell you a story time. The story time is actually going to be about my favorite subject, actually ghosts. I once did something that I shouldn't have done. When I was 12, I was young. Don't judge me. My friend's house was haunted when we were little kids growing up, and I was like, you know what, I've seen some things in my life, so I think I can handle a whole seance at the age of like 13. Well, I was wrong. I grabbed the silks, I grabbed the candles, we did the whole little pentagram thing, and we joined hands. And we called her the little girl, just to let you know this. As kids, we called her the little girl, so we were summoning the little girl. So my friends tell me, because I don't remember, that I started acting really funny, and that, you know, I actually wasn't speaking. It takes me a second to say because it's hard to say, but I wasn't speaking as my own voice. I have a very distinct voice. As I got older from smoking, it got a little raspier, but it's very distinct, and it is nothing like what they said they had heard that night. So with that said, we left. I had no knowledge of closing off anything. I really wish I did my research, but then again, I was 13 and I thought I knew everything. So I head home, and it's my cousin and I, and we're walking, and next thing you know, I'm like passing out. So now we're like, what do we do? She's like, she's crying, she's upset, she doesn't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, I'm totally spazzing out. So we get to our friend's house, who her mom wasn't home, thank God, and we were like, we'll go to her house because that's a safe zone for us to where we can talk about it. We got there, still on her bed, like, oh my God, girl, what do we do? Oh my God, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. My mom finds out, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. So I decided to go home and not say nothing to my mom at all. Next morning, my mom wakes up and says, what did you do, Teri? And I'm like, nothing, Mom. And she's like, don't tell me nothing. Only for the fact is, ever since you got home and you've been sleeping, there's been a little girl at the edge of your bed crying with her hands in her face like so. And I'm like, no, I have no clue what you're talking about. So I kept it going and forgot about the whole situation and moved out of my house due to family problems, which will be other story times. But when I moved back in with a roommate. A friend of mine had moved in there, and she was like, girlfriend, I don't like the girl that I'm living with. She's real dirty, and she's living hella foul, and I'm not about that life. And I was like, well, I know the landlord. Let's have a talk with him, and let's see what I can do. So I pop up at the house and tell her, look, landlord's letting me move in, because I was trying to get out of my mom's, because, long story, I was trying to get back out of my mom's house once again, because I couldn't live with her neither. So, fast forward, I'm evicting this girl, the girl gets out, I move in. Me and my friend, we lived together for a while. We had such a good time together. But when you live together and there's not enough space, things happen, and she moved out. Now I'm left there by myself. I don't believe in anything anymore because I really didn't feel like I was experiencing things like that in my life. I was just all about in my own bubble. Didn't care about a thing. Well, when I was by myself with my 2-year-old, reality kicked in. One night I was sleeping in my bed, and The next thing you know, I'm hearing scratches. I'm hearing like what sounds like scratches on a metal vent, but nails. It wasn't like, I don't want to hear no mice, no nothing like that. Like I had a whole cat that was a killer, and there wasn't even a vent underneath my bed. So that is still like, okay, maybe it could be a mouse, because I didn't want to admit it because I'm there by myself, along with some low growling, which should have been just my key to get the frig out of that place, but I didn't. It should have been my cue, but I didn't go nowhere. I stayed there and was like, my house. So now I move Dave in, and Dave and I are living together, and little things are starting to happen even more. Noises, clicks. I found out the clicks were my GFI, the grounder. The actual grounder just kept on resetting itself. And I don't know if you have one, or if you know that when it trips, it pops. And then you have to actually click it back in to reset it. It was doing that over and over again. I figured that out, what it was. I was like, all right, something's messing with that. Then I hear my, I had my water disconnected from my refrigerator. You know how you have ice, water. I kept on hearing the water button being pushed as I was going to leave. So I would like say smart things like, it's going to take a whole lot more than that. Regret. Like, you don't scare me, blah, blah, blah. Well, we get to the point to where now my daughter comes downstairs, and she had to be at like at least 6 years old, maybe 5 or 6, because I just had Jacob. And they were both up there, and I hear the baby gate. So she had to be like, he had to be like 1, and she had to be like 7. So she's fighting with that gate, and like I could hear the panic. I'm down there watching a movie. I'm like, is everything okay? So I run to the steps, and she finally gets it open, and she gets down the steps. She flies down the steps, poor child. And my daughter says, she didn't say nothing. She was pale white. She actually was like incoherent at the moment. She was like, Mom, I don't know what had happened. The girl, and in my heart and in my soul, I knew she was going to mention something about a little girl. Well, she did. And that took me in my own feelings, because like now my child's dealing with this. So I like left Dave with her real quick, and I went next door and grabbed a neighbor to come sit with her so I could have a breather, because I was really, really like upset at this moment. I wasn't scared. I was more like upset that the fact that I brought this to this house. So that passes by, time goes by, little things are still happening. My credit cards go missing, but pop up in like random areas, and they never were spent or anything like that. Money, same thing, would go missing and would pop up. Like even like a little trinket that I had that was sitting on my bed, and when I went to go grab it, it was gone. It took 4 months for it to pop up, and when it popped up at the top of my, like where my bed was. There was like a window, and the window was really big. It had sliding glass. All the windows and my doors were sliding glass in the house except the front door. And I'm like, what the fuck? And everything was sliding glass doors except for my front door, and the windowsills were kind of like wide and deep, and my headboard matched with the window, and it was above my head. That was like one of many things. People were afraid to come to my house because One time I let my sister and her boyfriend sleep there, and he was like, the next morning, like, I'm not sleeping at your house no more because while we were sleeping, a white guy was standing above me when I woke up, and he walked into the entryway, like the walkway. We had like a walkway and the walkway of every landing of this house, because it was a Father, Son, and Holy Father, Son, Holy Ghost house, which it was like only like floor, and they put an addition on. All had a hallway like type. So like he said, like the guy like turned around and walked into that area, gave him one like look back, and then like it disappeared, and he didn't want to like come back to the house. I mean, he came back, but he didn't want to ever sleep back in the house again. Then I would let my mom babysit, and one night she was babysitting for me, and it was actually it was New Year's Eve, and she called my sister like spazzing the fuck out because she kept on plugging my Christmas tree in, and my Christmas tree lights were real tight into the wall. They weren't like flimsy. They weren't like anything to where like you know, it would like slip out because, you know, she didn't push it in hard enough. But it kept on happening to her, and I think by like the 8th time it came out, she just left it out and was like, I'm calling my daughter. She didn't call me, but she called my sister and was like stay on the phone with me. Like she was pretty much shook. And when I got home, she told me about it, and I just like laughed it off because she knows the house. The house was hers before it was mine, and that will be another story because my mom had a lot to play with this whole situation, and how I decided life was at the moment to what it really was supposed to be. No shade, but it all fits in. So now it escalates from the little things to the bigger things. Now I'm laying there in bed, and you know the figure you're sleeping and like something comes over your eyes, it blocks out your light. Well, that happened to me, and I was lying there and I was like, I'm gonna open my eyes and something is gonna be in my face. So I counted to 3 and I was like, all right, 1, 2, 3. Open my eyes, nothing. So I jumped up, and when I jumped up, there was a shadow in my corner, and I was like, who is that? And it dissipated. Went away. Another time, I had one drink with my friend and his girlfriend, and Dave and I at my house for his birthday. Made shout out to his birthday's coming up again soon. Yeah, that night wasn't fun because like it was the first time I was talked to from whatever it was in like a very stern way. I went to lay down and I heard, wake up! And me being who I am, I was like, who the hell are you talking to? Like, I know you're not talking to me, because I'll get some holy water and throw it on your ass. Like, I am not fetting to play with this stuff no more. So, it goes from that to being left alone to me laying there one night. And I'm laying there, and I literally feel something from my ankle all the way up to my arm. Back down my arm, all the way down to my leg, back up to my other thigh. Now we're on my other thigh of my other leg. And by the time it made its way up my arm this way, I spazzed. I hit through, jumped up, turned the friggin' lights on, scared the shit out of Dave, and was like, there's a spider on me. There's a fucking spider on me. See, automatically, my mind always wants to deny the reality of what it is. And you're going to find out in a second why I knew it wasn't a friggin' spider. He's like, babe, you're freaking me out. Now he's sitting up. He's like, babe, you're freaking me out. You're freaking me out. What the hell is going on? And I'm like, I'm looking for a spider. I felt it crawl up and down me, not once, but twice. Like, it's got to get killed because I get bit by them. I have bad reactions to them. They make my skin blow up. I blow up. Like, it's horrible. In the middle of me looking for this spider, some invisible, what felt like hand, grabbed the back of my leg and literally creeped its way up through my thighs and like right up my ass crack. Hand to God, right up my ass crack. So that totally freaked me out, and it totally freaked Dave out, and like I just wanted to put that one to rest. I told a few people and kept it pretty much moving in my home. Then the next thing you know, Dave, so now it goes from noises to actual being touched, talked to. My daughter would say that she would, you know, daytime, nighttime, it didn't matter. She would hear like it in her ear, like not in, but like if someone was standing here whispering to her. It went from that to my daughter now being in 10th grade, and I'm sleeping. I'm not sleeping, like I'm never sleeping. I just lay there for the most part and at nighttime until I do fall asleep. But I'm laying down and Dave's sleeping, excuse me, and then she comes down and I look up at her, and it for some reason wakes Dave up like instantly, and he's like, ah, which kicked her into whatever like memory she had from upstairs. Now I bring everybody downstairs and, you know, into like the room, and I'm like, all right, we're all going to sleep here for tonight. We're not going to sleep in any of the rooms. We're going to sleep here, makeshift bed. We're all camping the hell out. We're not, no one's leaving no one alone because of what she described. And what she described was a girl kind of like from The Ring, and that it's the second time she described this girl, and it kind of matches my mom's description, except for my mom couldn't see her face because she was crying. So my daughter says she wakes up to her hand here over my daughter and her other hand over here and her in her face, and like literally she said the girl had snaggle teeth, like long black matted like as if she was drowned type hair, which totally freaked me out. And I was like, all right, lockdown. Then it started getting physical towards Dave. Dave was in the bathroom shaving one day, and I heard doom, 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 doom. And I just knew automatically that he seen something or something had happened, because he screamed my name, and I went flying up them steps to him shaking like a leaf. And because he has a, like, mind you, a razor up to his neck, and he didn't really have to explain it, but I kind of understood what he meant when he said it didn't slide off. You know, like sometimes shampoos slide off of the shower or the edge of the tub. No, this actually bounced off to the wall, onto the tub, and back down to the floor again. And I heard it with my own ears before he even called my name, so I already know. Then it started to follow him to work. Like, he was laying back in the car one day and he got mugged, and he thought it was a coworker, and he went to go say something to them, and there was no one there. So now at this point in life, I bought rosary beads, sage, holy water, and metals and salts, because like I was at my wit's end with it. I was like, what more can happen? Well, I'll tell you what more can happen. Dave was upstairs and he was going to the bathroom. My daughter and I were standing downstairs and he screamed and came running down the steps, and he's grabbing at his back and he's like, what the fuck is on my back? He's like, I literally feel like it's burning. Oh my God, what is on my back? And this is what we found. Now with that said, I was shook. Like my core was shook. I didn't know what to think or what to believe. I'm like, my whole core was shook. I was like, no, we have to get a hold of somebody. So I went into a community that was a paranormal group that helped out a whole lot, and she referred me to one of these guys. An exorcist. Yeah, you got that right. An exorcist. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm on the phone telling this guy my whole entire life. Reverend Mike Schroeder, yes, you. My whole entire life. And you really did help, because I knew now what I was dealing with. It wasn't just like some child spirit, because it did present itself a couple times as a child, innocent. There are other stories I could do fillers for another time, because this house had so much going on in it. But yeah, that's what kind of took me, and I was like, this is the end. Like, it's something's got to give. And if you don't believe in it, all I gotta say is that I thought the same way until I actually experienced it, and then I realized, you know what? People ain't that fucking crazy. Like, literally, it manifests. It's real. It's not a figment of my imagination. One time I thought it was my LSD kicking in. Obviously wasn't, because my whole family didn't take LSD. There was no radon leaks. There was no like high EMFs in the house, because we did all that. The only thing is that I was told that there was a portal in the house, and that one of my loved ones was keeping it kind of tight, along with the family prayers and us getting together and being on the same level when it came to this malevolent entity, because that's what I'm going to call it, because it wasn't a spirit. I'm a spiritual person. I'm actually more spiritual than I am religious. And with that said, I'll give you a spiritual part. Like, there are dark shadows that you see and stuff. One day I was making egg salad, and I seen, now mind you, remember I told you it has the long hallways that come in. You know, there's my living room, and then you come into my kitchen, dining room area, and the sliding glass door. Of course, like I said, I have sliding glass doors. And I'm making egg salad, and I'm cooling them off, and I'm like, yeah, all good. Life's nice, peachy, nothing to worry about. And I see something white and bright coming my way from the hallway. So I look at it, and I'm like, so now I'm dead on with it. And the only way I could describe it is, it was like the height of a person, but it didn't touch the ground. And it was like white, but like white smoke, but not see-through. And it had like an amber color right here. And as quick as I locked eyes with it, is as quick as it went right out of my back door. and I had to step outside and take a breath. I was like, what was that now? Like, if it ain't one thing, it's another. But to me, I believe that was an angel coming to visit, like one of my family members. So that was a good note. But I do have more story times on this. Oh, real quick, background of this place where I live, this neighborhood. Now, mind you, around the corner from my house is a like soccer field. It used to be a cemetery. So the one around the corner was absolutely a cemetery. And when I went to go look into this, I found out that cemetery was turned into the playground in around like 1930. And then the cemetery around the corner from me was way longer. And they shortened it, which is Palmer Cemetery. And there's a ton of houses now on where the cemetery used to be. And then if you cross the street here this way, there was another cemetery that got lifted up, removed, and a factory was built on it. And now that factory is condos. And then if you go around towards, actually just down that street, there's like this little triangle spot, and that was a Native American burial ground because they found the tombstone about 5 years ago when they were doing the gentrification and all that in Fishtown. They actually were like, oh, we found this headstone and a bone and a few other things. And they still were allowed to build on it. And then there's that, it's not Kensington High School, the rural Kensington High School, which is at Frankfurt and not Huntington, but Cumberland. But it's actually like a charter school for them, and it's at Front Street. But there's a playground behind that too, which wasn't too far from my house, that was also a cemetery. And that cemetery story ended up kind of like a poltergeist scene, if you know what I mean. They gave people more, some time to get their loved ones out of their plots, but most people have died. There was no family to get family out the plots. So when the rains came and all that, it like literally made the ground soft, and the people that removed the bodies, like the ground was even softer, and everything just went, all the bodies came up, flooded up, and washed down, and ended up in Delaware River, ended up all along Richmond, all the way up to Allegheny. And for that, I feel like just that in itself is a recipe for disaster. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Stay blessed up. Stay up. Don't let nobody tell you can't do it. Keep up on it. This was my bucket list. Like literally, I'm a bucket list person. And it became a hobby now. Now I'm like full steam. I'm ready to drop these stories left and right. Because to me, if I don't let somebody know, there's going to be always that one person that feels alone. And that I don't want in life. Because there was a lot of times I felt alone. And now I don't. And for y'all, I thank you for that. From the bottom of my heart. Till next time. Peace, YouTube.